everyone, welcome to the next edition of FatChanceStyle Tidbits. In this video, we're going to go over the snake arm or arm undulations. Usually in the FatChance style, they're referred more frequently to as arm undulations, but they're very directly related to more traditional belly dance style snake arms with just a couple differences depending on exactly how you may have learned them in the past. So one of the main differences, if you have learned snake arms in the past in a different belly dance style, is that in the FatChance style, we never really come below this height. So in other types of belly dance, you can see, arm undulations or snake arms will go really big, or sometimes they're actually down here. In FatChance style, they're always above, they're either at this level or higher. So that's really the main difference. So now actually breaking down what you do, if you're going to be right at this height versus this height, the way that you do it is actually slightly different. So I'm going to start with, if you're closer to this height, you're going to start by, I'm going to actually just start with one arm is easier to start with, so we'll do that first. So you're going to have your arm at the shoulder height. You have a nice curve in your arm, so you're not straight. You have the nice bend in your arm. Nice active energy through your fingers, and you're going to lift your elbow and then lift your wrist and then lower your elbow and then lower your wrist. So you're going up with the elbow, up with the wrist, down with the elbow, down with the wrist. So it's up, and down, then down, up, then up, and down, and down. So then you can start to smooth that out, and then you can kind of let it travel into your hand a little bit. So your hand doesn't have to be rigid. You want it to be nice and soft and flowing as you're doing that motion. So if we do that on the other side, you're going to lift your elbow, lift your wrist, lower your elbow, and lower your wrist. Lift, and lift, and drop, and drop. Lift, lift, drop, drop, and then you can smooth that out. So that's focusing just on one arm, but of course we usually are doing both arms at the same time, but they're doing the opposite thing. So one kind of flows into the other. So when our one elbow is lifted, this is my right, but it's probably on the left of your screen, then my other elbow is down, and then they switch, right? So they're doing the opposite of each other. So if you start bringing the wrist into it and start to smooth it out a little bit, then you can see it kind of flows from one side to the other. The energy from one side flows down and then up the other side and back down to the other side. One way you can think of it is if you have like a marble or something that you are kind of sending from one side to the other. So it's up on this arm and it's traveling down and I'm catching it with this arm, and it's traveling back and I'm catching it with that arm. So that's one way to try to think of it, just to get the coordination down. The coordination is really the difficult part of the snake arms or the arm undulations. So when your arms are higher, they can kind of travel between shoulder height and then they can move up. As they move up here, it's almost more, see, I'll kind of sink down so you can see my hands. It's more of a pushing motion. So you're pushing to the one side and then you're pushing to the other side. So the mechanics change just a little bit, but the idea is mostly the same, that your arms are just doing this nice smooth undulation from side to side. All right, and that's arm undulations. Thank you guys for joining me today.